World War II, the deadliest conflict in human history. It began in 1939 and ended in 1945, spanning across every continent and ocean. Over 70 million people lost their lives, entire nations were reshaped, and the world we know today was forged in its aftermath. This is the story of how the world went to war and how humanity fought to reclaim peace. The causes of war. The roots of World War II can be traced back to the ashes of World War I. The Treaty of Versailles left Germany humiliated and broken, its economy shattered, its people desperate for change. Amid that chaos rose Adolf Hitler, who promised to restore pride and power to his country. In Italy, Benito Mussolini built his fascist regime, while in Japan, military leaders sought to dominate Asia and the Pacific. On September 1, 1939, Germany invaded Poland. 2 days later, Britain and France declared war. The world was at war once again. Early years of war. Using a new tactic called Blitzkrieg, or lightning war, German forces swept through Europe with terrifying speed. Poland fell within weeks, followed by Denmark, Norway, Belgium, and the Netherlands. By June 1940, France had fallen, and Hitler's forces stood at the edge of the English Channel. But Britain refused to surrender. In the skies over London, the Battle of Britain raged. Waves of German bombers met the fierce defense of the Royal Air Force. Meanwhile, Italy invaded North Africa, and Japan expanded across China and Southeast Asia. The Axis powers seemed unstoppable. Pearl Harbor and turning points on December 7, 1941, the course of the war changed forever. Japan launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, destroying the U.S. Pacific Fleet and killing over 2,400 Americans. The next day, the United States declared war, and the conflict became truly global. In 1942 and 1943, the tide began to turn. The Soviet Union defeated Germany in the brutal Battle of Stalingrad, ending Hitler's advance east. In the Pacific, the U.S. Navy won the Battle of Midway, crippling Japan's fleet. Across Africa, the Allies pushed Axis forces out of Tunisia, ending the Desert War. Hope was returning. D-Day and the fall of Germany. By 1944, the Allies prepared to strike back at Europe. On June 6, 1944, known as D-Day, over 150,000 Allied troops landed on the beaches of Normandy, France, the largest amphibious invasion in history. The fighting was fierce, but by the end of the day, the Allies had secured a foothold in Europe. From the west, Allied forces advanced through France and Belgium. From the east, the Soviet Red Army pushed through Poland toward Berlin. Surrounded and defeated, Adolf Hitler took his own life on April 30, 1945. Germany surrendered soon after, on May 8, 1945. Victory in Europe Day. War in the Pacific and the atomic bomb. But in the Pacific, the war was far from over. Japan refused to surrender, even as American forces captured island after island in a campaign known as island hopping. The battles of Iwo Jima and Okinawa were among the bloodiest of the war, with massive casualties on both sides. Facing the prospect of an invasion of Japan that could cost millions of lives, the United States made a fateful decision. On August 6, 1945, an atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima. 3 days later, another on Nagasaki. The destruction was unimaginable. On September 2, 1945, Japan surrendered. The Second World War was finally over. Aftermath and legacy. The aftermath of World War II was devastating. Over 70 to 85 million people, soldiers and civilians, were dead. Entire cities lay in ruins. The Holocaust revealed the horrific extent of Nazi crimes, as over 6 million Jews were murdered. But from this tragedy came change. The United Nations was formed to prevent future wars. The United States and the Soviet Union emerged as superpowers, setting the stage for the Cold War. Across Asia and Africa, colonies sought independence, and the modern world began to take shape. Humanity had endured its darkest hour and survived. World War II was more than just battles and borders. It was a test of humanity itself. It showed how far ambition and hate can drive the world into chaos, but also how courage, sacrifice, and unity can bring it back from the brink. The lessons of the past must never be forgotten. Remember the past, protect the future.